am Heather File with Lancaster Archery Academy, and today I'm going to talk to you about the Chronotir 2C time clocks. These are made in France, and they are amazing for archery competitions or to have on your range. They make things a lot easier and more simple. So today I'm going to talk to you about the features of the clocks and then actually run you through how to program them. Okay, so when you get your clocks, the first thing you're going to do is charge them. You can plug them into any wall outlet, and the great thing about these clocks versus the older versions is that you can actually see the battery light indicator, so it tells you what your charge is. So that is going to be located on the left side of the time clock. You will have the battery power indicator, and you can just click it and it'll tell you how much charge it has left. So this is great to take outside or just move around if you are unable to have them plugged in downrange. Now the other feature about this clock is you can adjust the brightness. So I'm going to do it, it's right here on this right side, but I'm going to do it on this clock so that you can actually see the brightness increase and decrease, which is great because if you have a bright floor, you can remove any glare. The same thing if it's really bright outside. And then you can just decrease it. And the nice part about these LEDs is that they are more recessed into the clock so that this can prevent it from getting damaged or broken. So that's a nice new feature as well. Now to turn the clocks on and off, that would be right here, the red button. And above that, you can actually adjust the sound too. So if you have two clocks in one close vicinity, you can turn the sound off on one of the clocks. That way it's not too loud, because when we actually go through the demonstration, you'll be able to hear that. Now I'm going to walk you through the actual programming of the clock. So I'm going to turn them off. And one of the really important things about these clocks is you want to make sure you always have new batteries when you go to use it. And if you're going to be using it for an extended period of time, say an indoor shoot, it might be 60 arrows, you're going to want to make sure that you have another new fresh set of batteries, and that takes 4 AA batteries. Okay, so now our clocks are off. When the clocks are turned on, you're going to see that they just have the red light indicating that they're on. So then you're going to turn the remote on. So you want to turn the clocks on first, then your remote. When you turn the remote on, it's going to walk the clocks through a self-test to make sure that they both synchronize up with the remote. It'll also do an audio check. So now our clocks are on, and we'll actually walk you through the programming. So on the remote, you have the on-off button, and then you have 2 up and down arrows. There's the PR, which consider that your program button. You have shoot, stop, and then score. So we're going to press and hold the PR button, which is program. The first thing that's going to come up is our shoot time. So you can adjust that based on the seconds for the amount of time that the archer needs to shoot. So for this instance, we're going to leave it at 120 seconds, which is 2 minutes. You'll press it again, and that's going to take you to pre-shoot. That's the amount of time that the archers will receive going from the waiting line to the shooting line. So for here, we're going to put it at 10 seconds. And then it'll allow you to select the yellow light. So this is the yellow light will give signal warning to the archers. And we're going to set that at 30 seconds. So now we have the clock set up for a standard qualification round. So when I hit shoot in the bottom left corner of this green button here, it is going to give 2 audio tones for the archers to come to the line. Then it's going to count down on your remote, and then it's going to give 1 more audio tone for them to shoot. Now it'll run through 120 seconds. The nice part is, for the person running the actual clocks, you can see the time counting down on the remote. So now as we're getting down to the end, you would hear 3 audio tones, and that would signify the archers to go down to the targets. Now this function is great if you only have 1 shooting line. But if you have 2 shooting lines, you're going to want to use the ABCD function, which is fantastic for the archers to keep an eye on where they are in their shooting place. So if you just hit the yellow arrow or the red arrow, just once, AB is going to pop up. Now the neat function about this is when we go through it again, it's going to automatically call CD. Okay, and if you happen to accidentally hit the button, that's okay. It's going to flip to CD, but you can do it again, and now we're going to be back at AB. So we'll walk through this one. It'll go through our 2 audio tones, our 1 audio tone, and then it'll go flip to CD. Great, so then our next line would come up, and you have the freedom based on how you're running the event to flip it back and forth between A, B, C, D. The next setting is called dual. Now, if you're just doing a standard qualification round, you're gonna leave that setting at off. The dual, if you would like to turn it on, this is gonna be used for, say, individual matches or Olympic team round matches. So you can press that to on, and when you select it, you're gonna adjust it by the yellow arrow or the red arrow. It's gonna take you to single. What that's gonna do, we'll do an actual example, but to explain it, it's gonna bounce the clocks back and forth. So it'll start on one clock with 30 seconds, and then it'll count down, and then it'll jump to the next clock. The same thing when you go up to team, it's the same concept, but it's pre-programmed. You can adjust the time settings as well, but it's pre-programmed to 120 seconds. So if you need to switch the rotation of the clocks for the match play, you would just hit stop, and it will move over to the clock. So right now it's on the left clock, and we're gonna hit stop, and it'll move over to the right clock. The same thing works if you need to stop in the middle and reset the clocks. You would just hit stop. So after setting your dual settings, if you would like it off on single or team, it'll then take you to klaxon. So klaxon would be your audio, the alarm, and if you turn that off, it will prevent any sound coming out of the clocks, or if you leave it on, then you'll have the audio tones, which will signify the archers to shoot. So we're gonna switch that to on. And then when you have all your settings set, you're gonna press and hold PR. Program, it'll validate the data, and then the clocks will run it through, and then it will pop up with the correct shoot time and all the settings that you've selected. Now, let's do a demonstration of the individual matches or the Olympic team rounds, which under the program settings is called dual. So I have the dual setting to on, and I have it selected at single. So this is gonna run 30 seconds. Now again, you can customize this if you wish. So I'm gonna hit shoot, and it's gonna bounce over here to the clock on my right, and then it's gonna bounce over to the clock on my left. So time has expired on this clock. Now it's gonna move over here. So to make that happen, I just hit shoot again, and this clock is gonna activate. Now say an archer finishes their match and there's still time on the clock. To force it to move on to the next clock, you're just gonna hit shoot. Thanks for checking out our basic overview of the Chronotir 2C time clocks. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please, if you have any questions, reach out to one of our tech experts and visit lancasterarchery.com.